Okay, so this right here is my CBR600RR, and it's been off the road for about 4 years now. And that's because it's had a couple issues, one of which was the cam chain tensioner went out, which is what I'm going to be fixing right now. So here I have a brand new OEM Honda genuine part cam chain tensioner. I was thinking about getting an aftermarket one, but with this kind of part I kind of want to go OEM. Now you can actually see the cam chain tensioner right in here behind the little toolbox holder and the heat shield. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a 10 millimeter wrench or socket or whatever, pull this little toolbox out, then pull this heat shield away and get the cam chain tensioner. I'm not too sure if you can do this with the fairings on or off, because in my particular case, as you can tell, the fairings are pretty well off. So I'm going to be doing it that way. Okay, so here is the 10 millimeter socket right here. That was way too easy. Is that supposed to be that easy? Can we get that off real quick? Okay, so there's this little toolbox is off. Now to move the heat shield out of the way, and you can see it's held in by little Allen keys. Honestly, I wasn't expecting Allen keys, but okay, let's do that. Looks like a tiny little 5 millimeter maybe? Might be the same size that they use on the gas cap. Okay, so here's the old cam chain tensioner. You can see it's pretty much fully extended. Still got some clean oil on it too, which is kind of blowing my mind. But it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. So I am really hoping that the cam chain tensioner is the actual problem, because I do not know if that's the case anymore. So let's put the new one in and see how it goes. And here's the new one right here. You can see it's pretty much all good. I mean, I don't really see a difference in the lobe setup at all. They look pretty much the same. This one's maybe a little bit, I don't know, they look, so I'm not too sure. We'll see. I must take this little gasket off the old one, put it on the new one, and put it on the bike. Okay, so I looked online and I found the torque spec for these things, but they're like 7 foot-pounds, and I don't really have anything that goes down to 7 foot-pounds, not to mention an Allen key, so I'm just going to torque it down by hand. I still got to figure out what that is right there and why that looks so much different than the one I have. Okay, so once the cam chain tensioner is installed, you pull this little thing out, and once you pull it out, it twists really quickly and you can hear the plunger drop back into the engine. Next, you got to get the 8 millimeters bolt that was on the old cam chain tensioner and then put it into the new one. And then that should complete the whole process. Okay. So this little tool, this little piece right here is basically in here to hold the plunger inside the actual tensioner, which makes it easier to install. So once you pull that out, the whole thing spins and pops forward while it's inside the engine. Then you got to take this little bolt out right here. Should be an 8 millimeter. Take that out and bolt it back to the new cam chain tensioner. Seems pretty easy. Okay, so here's the 8 millimeter bolt. I actually had to end up putting in a vise to get it out of here, so keep that in mind. Also, I gotta buy some nail clippers, man. Damn. Too bad everything's still on lockdown. Anyway, so the 8 millimeter bolt goes right in there. Little hole. Just like so. And it should be fixed after this. Oh, it's a two-handed job. Hold on. Okay, so the bolt is on. Cam chain tensioner is installed. Next step, gonna do an oil change. I've already done a video on that, so you probably don't want to see that. But I'm gonna wipe it down, get this bike ready, and then I'm gonna do something kind of big. Old front fairing, new front fairing, new gas tank fairing, bunch of new fairings up there. Yep, this bike is gonna be red. It's gonna look really sick, and I'm gonna put like a 02 peaker on the side of it. It's gonna be full anime nerd red motorcycle look. It's gonna be awesome, man. There's one good thing that's gonna come out of this quarantine is I'm gonna get some projects done. I actually don't even have the money to buy gas right now, but I bought these parts like 3-4 years ago, so they've pretty much been sitting ready and waiting to be installed.